Welcome to the KO Boxing Show. Big show tonight in the studio. The Maloney twins, Andrew and Jason, to talk about their exciting times fighting on the Danny Green undercard. Also, the H. Howard Lee is going to make a massive announcement on a Manny Pacquiao tour, and John Rombotis back with Howard Lee. Back with the Lord of the Ring, the premier ring announcer in Australia, Howard Lee. Welcome to the KO Boxing Show. Double respect.
Correct, Peter.
Big announcement. Manny Pacquiao, a friend of yours, a friend of the program, visiting Australia in November. It's going to be massive for the local boxing community here.
Absolutely, Peter, and you've spent many years negotiating with Manny Pacquiao, and now you've got him coming.
He's going to be a big, big draw card here. He's going to be...
Is he in Melbourne? Where else, Peter?
Melbourne luncheon, November 18 at Crown Palladium.
Right.
And for tickets, it's mannydownunder.com.au if you want to book tickets to that. Thursday, Margaret Court Arena for his movie premiere, Manny. Did you know he was actually in a movie? Wahlberg's in it, Jimmy Kimmel's in it, a lot of people are in it, and obviously plays himself. It's his life story. That's going to be at the Margaret Court Arena on the Thursday night, and again, www.mannydownunder.com.au, and tickets from $65, which is pretty reasonable price to meet a great man like Manny Pacquiao.
Pete, will he give a speech, or will it be question and answer type format?
Question and answers, and obviously you watch the film. The film goes for an hour and a half, which describes his life story, and his wife's arriving as well, Jinky.
Jinky, right.
Jinky, who's a very nice lady. Manny's got 5 kids.
5. He's a busy man with family and Congress and boxing. And
a lot of people are saying he could be the next Prime Minister or President of the Philippines, Howard. How would you...
A great democratic country, the Philippines. Pete, just go through his great boxing career. What will he talk about here? His great fights, I mean, Mayweather and all the great opponents he's met over the journey, Peter.
8 world titles in 8 different weight classes. That's in the Guinness Book of Records. That's going to be hard to beat. I don't think there's ever going to be a fighter that can win 8 world titles in 8 different weight classes to even equal the record. He's also going to probably talk about his aspirations to be the next president of the Philippines. And his next fight. I mean, a lot of people are saying his next fight could be Amir Khan. I don't think so. I think his next fight will be Floyd Mayweather again in America for a rematch, because Floyd Mayweather just fought Birdo recently. You look at Mayweather's pay-per-view numbers, under 500,000. There was 2,000 vacant seats inside the venue. They had to make sure the lighting covered the vacant seats. And the seats dropped to $150 per ticket. They still didn't move them. When he fought Manny Pacquiao, 4.5 million pay-per-view buys just in America. Floyd received 240 million. Manny got 215 million. And I mean, when you look at even Manny's 215 million, that's more than LeBron James, Tiger Woods, and Roger Federer earning a whole year. He earns, basically in one hit. He's about, it's 5 or 10 years of all salary caps of AFL clubs combined. Of all AFL footballers, he earns in one night. So it's big stuff, the money we're talking about. So I can't see Mayweather not pushing for a rematch with Pacquiao.
50th fight now, Pete. Let's paint the picture. A lot of people suggested, and many suggested, he was injured before that fight and he rushed his treatment. Pete, is that correct? Was Manny 100% fit when he went into that fight against Mayweather?
Look, there's no excuses. Once you enter the ring, there's no excuses. But he wasn't allowed a painkiller, which was legit, because he didn't fill out the paperwork correctly. And after the weigh-in, Mayweather went and had an IV inside his own house, which is not allowed. And the prescribed things that he put in his system weren't allowed. So a lot of it were masking. So, when you put masking stuff into your own system, which, you can't get a detection when you do get tested, he put in the latest stuff, which is deep salt oil, which is a top masking agent now. To have that in your system, why would you put that in your system the day before the fight? That's one thing I'd like to ask Mayweather, why he did that, and why no one knew till the
fight was over.
WADA turned up the day of the weigh-in, and they didn't report it for 3 weeks after that. There's question marks on WADA or the American Testing Commission, because they were paid by Mayweather, and the normal fee is $15,000 to do a normal test procedure. Their cheque was cut for $150,000. They got paid 10 times the amount. Would you like to get paid 10 times the amount?
It's infinitesimal though, Peter. I mean, we can't calculate that, can't imagine the amount of money involved in that fight. Would the return match draw almost as well?
100% it would, because there's a story behind it. Now, Manny went in injured. You know, Floyd's used IVs.
Yes.
A lot of people thought Manny won the fight anyway.
Yes.
A lot of people thought it might have been a draw.
Yes.
It definitely deserves a rematch,
Right.
and it's something Floyd can't run away from now because the fans have spoken. They don't want to see him fight unless he fights Manny. I mean, the Birdo fight didn't get the numbers he wanted.
No, you're right.
And people aren't satisfied till he fights Manny again. So,
Peter, you take the job of in the corner. What would you be telling Manny in the preparation for the return match? What instructions would you sort of give him?
Manny's got to go back to the old style of just being wild, because Maidana was wild and really rocked.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Rocked Mayweather, and because technically Mayweather's too good defensively. He's probably the best defensive fighter with Pernell Whitaker that I've ever seen. So if you just do the basic stuff, it ain't going to work with Mayweather. He's just got to throw wild punches and throw caution to the wind and you know, hope to land a big shot to change the fight when you're in that thing with Mayweather, because once he sets, he's very hard to beat, whether you like him or not.
Good,
but getting back to the
getting
tour,
back to his tour, Peter, this has
Melbourne
taken years of
Sydney.
negotiation on your part. I know you've been talking about it, preparing for it, and Manny finally says yes. Is he going to bring an entourage with him?
Between 12 and 20 people, so we're going to work that out in the next few days, how many people actually come. But he's bringing his wife and you know, a lot of his advisors and trusted people.
Is he?
And it's going to be a big occasion for Australian to have someone like Manny at the peak of his powers here and doing stuff like that. Because I know not only the Filipino community, but the boxing community want to be part of it, Howard.
That's right. Tell us the date he arrives in Melbourne, Peter.
He arrives November 16.
Not far away.
Press conference November 17, and the first luncheon's November 18. And then he departs November 22nd from Sydney, because we leave to Sydney on November. You'll be with him all the way, will you? I'll be with him all the way. So we'll get some good scoops, no doubt, and it's something the boxing community should definitely support. If you want to go and see your idol, Manny Pacquiao, he's not only a congressman, not only a movie star, not only a basketball player, not only probably the next president of the Philippines. He was the oldest drafted basketball player in the Filipino professional league, and they normally get 15,000 a game. I got 80,000 the first time Manny played, and he only played for 6 minutes. So this guy's a phenomenon. Get down there, www.moneydownunder.com.au. Thanks, Howard, for coming on the show.
Peter. Keep punching. Good luck with the Manny Pacquiao tour.
And Howard Lee, the best in the business. Always great to have you here, Howard.
Keep punching, Pete.
A legend of the sport.
Thank you.
Back with one of the most exciting prospects in Australian boxing, Commonwealth Games gold medalist Andrew Maloney, an undefeated professional. Welcome to the KO Boxing Show.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me.
Mate, slashing win on a Danny Green undercard. You boxed beautifully. You fought a very tough international opponent from the Philippines. What was the occasion like, fighting in front of a big crowd and on a Danny Green undercard?
It was unbelievable fighting at Hisense Arena. There was 9,000 or 10,000 people there, and the atmosphere was great. Myself and my brother had an amazing support there of at least 500 or 600 people, and as you said, had a really tough fight and got the win. So everything went to plan.
You mentioned off camera you might be heading to the Philippines for a training camp at the ALAR gym, Tony Aldeguer. That's a massive experience, isn't it? Who'll be going over?
Yeah, definitely. Myself and my brother have been looking into going over there in preparation for our next fights. We know there's some great champions over there, especially around our weight division. So myself and my brother and Brian are planning to go over there in the next couple of weeks. Now
let's talk about Brian Butler. He started you guys off, and he's taken you to America as well. It must be a big experience going to, gyms like the Wildcard Gym and what have you. What are some of the good stories you've had out of boxing, travelling around and doing this type of stuff?
Yeah, no, definitely. We went over to America with Brian and a couple of times now, twice now, and we travelled all around the world in the amateurs as well. And again, with Brian, we're going to travel overseas. Plenty of times in the future, we plan to get as much as we can out of this sport, and you only get one shot at it, so we're going to give it our best shot.
You fought in Glasgow and won a gold medal in front of a massive crowd at the Olympic, or it was Commonwealth Games level, but it's like Olympic type of, atmosphere. What's the difference between a night like that and a night like fighting professional on a Danny Green undercard?
It was that was something, going from fighting at the Commonwealth Games at such a big event, and there was 14,000 people in the crowd for the final. So going from an event like that and fighting on some of the smaller shows, I found a little bit hard to sometimes lift for those occasions, but fighting on Danny's card was exactly what I needed. You know, it was back at that same level, and really got me excited about the fight, and it brings the best out of me fighting in big events like that.
That's great, mate. The bigger the stage, the more excited you get. That's right, yeah. That's what we want to hear, mate. That's what we want to hear. What, looking forward now, I mean, you're 4-0, and it's a great start to a professional career, having that grounding, but also win the Commonwealth Games gold medal. I mean, what's your 5-year plan? Have you got a 5-year plan, or you don't have a 5-year plan in boxing, or 2-year plan? What?
In 5 years' time, I want to be world champion.
So that's mate. That's a great statement. That's a big thing to aim for. You mentioned now you're travelling to the Philippines to do some sparring. How long will you be there in the Philippines?
We're planning to go for about 2 weeks and just get some really good sparring over there, and then come back and finish off training camp and taper off before the fight.
You guys met Milan Melindo, who's fought for a world title. He's a flyweight, junior flyweight. How did you find him in sparring?
It was really good sparring. I sparred with him over at the Wild Card in America, and that's when I first noticed the sort of a la gym from the Philippines, and that's what makes me want to go over there and get more of that top quality sparring.
You also like your football, and the finals are here and everything. Do you miss playing footy and you just boxing? Do you ever get the feeling to have a kick again, or not really?
Sometimes when it's freezing cold outside on a Saturday morning, I don't miss it at all.
Okay, because that team environment of football, sometimes you do miss it. Being around the boys, your mates are probably still playing at local footy and stuff like that. Yeah, some of our mates
are still playing, but the level we're getting to now with our boxing and fighting on cards like Danny's, I'm very happy with the decision we made to swap over to boxing.
And if the Channel 31 viewers want to come out and watch you train and stuff like that, where can you get to? What times and where do you train?
We train at East End Boxing Club in Croydon, which is on Cool Store Road, number 20 Cool Store Road, and we're there every night from 4:30 till about 7 o'clock.
Great. Jump in there, watch the boys train, and it'll be pretty exciting for the viewers. Also, mate, before we sign you off, Peak Nutritions, which it's a high protein, low carb, which this is a vanilla and a chocolate. Are you a vanilla man or a chocolate man?
Oh, chocolate man.
Okay, well, I'll give you both anyway, mate.
Sounds good. Thanks, Peter.
And they've got a great website, www.peaknutritions.com.au. Thanks for being on the show. Enjoy the protein shakes, and we'll get you back for the big announcement pretty soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
Back with undefeated professional Jason Maloney. Jason, welcome to the KO Boxing Show.
Thanks for having us, Peter.
Mate, you had a slashing win on the Danny Green undercard. You had your toe, the fans were on their toes. It was, crash bash. Is that the way you like to fight?
Yeah, it is the way I like to fight. I like to sort of give an entertaining fight, make sure the crowd sort of gets what they came to see, and they walk away and say that they had a good night. So, yeah, everyone was really happy with my fight, and I walked away with the win, so I was happy too.
Mate, you love to sit on your punch, just wail away. Every punch is nearly loaded. Where does that come from?
That's sort of the style I like to watch, that sort of style of fighter. I like to be able to box and move and look pretty when it needs to happen, but I like to be exciting, so I like to think that I can get the better of people when we go toe-to-toe, so that's how he wanted to go. He could punch pretty hard, so I did sort of walk into one in the second round, and that sort of made me wake up and realise that it could be a little bit dangerous. But yeah, I just kept going the way I like to go. I do a lot of work with my strengths coach, Chris Churchwood at Enterprise Fitness, and I like to think that I'm pretty strong, so I went for the knockout and I was able to get it.
Great work, especially on a Danny Green undercard in front of a massive crowd. Where did boxing start with you? We know your brother, Andrew. He won a gold medal, and you guys had your first amateur fight on the same day in Wangaratta. Yeah,
we did. We both had our first fight on the same day. We actually both fought the same opponent. There wasn't many people our weight. We were 45 kilos for our first fight. So yeah, we went up to Wangaratta, both had our first fight, both unfortunately lost their first fight, but yeah.
To the same guy?
To the same guy.
He fought 2 fights in one day?
Yeah, he was a pretty experienced guy. He ended up being an Olympian, Stevie Sutherland, so we fought him our first fight and we didn't get the nod, but yeah, that's sort of where it all started and on from there.
Oh, beautiful. Now, you're an apprentice plumber. How hard is it mixing, doing the plumbing in your first year and training with boxing?
Yeah, it's pretty tough, working full-time and boxing as well professionally. Trying to train twice a day, every day, as well as work my 8 hours. Gets pretty tough, so that's what I have to do at the moment to get by, but we're looking to eventually step into being full-time professional boxers, but that needs to come with a lot of support. Fortunately we do have a lot of sponsors that help us out, but at the moment we're sort of looking to build that profile a bit more, and the more support we get, the better. So if anyone does want to sponsor or support us, they can get onto the link on teammaloney.com.au, click on the sponsorship link and just go from there.
Gee, that's pretty good, mate. Yeah, any viewers out there that want to sponsor boxers that I think are the next big bright stars of Australian boxing, you'll get plenty of exposure because you guys fight on Danny Green's undercard. So
yeah.
Where there's Dan, there's always cameras and a big show, so right. I'll definitely get exposure. What's your plan? You're obviously going to the Philippines along with Andrew in next month or next couple of weeks?
Yeah, that's right. We're looking to go to the Philippines for a training camp, see what it's like over there. As Andrew said, we've seen and heard a lot about the gym over there and a lot of their fighters. So looking to go over there and test the water and get a lot of experience from that.
All right, mate. What are your plans? We spoke to Andrew. He said that his 5-year plan, he wants to be a world champion in 5 years. Are you a bit different, or do you?
No, that's all right. You've got to aim for the top. It's not a sport you want to muck around with, so it's all or nothing. Yeah.
Would you ever fight each other? I doubt it.
If the money's right, I'd fight him, yeah.
Now, your dad, Daryl, he's a big part of this, isn't he? He's always there for you guys. He's been there from the start, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Dad's unbelievable with the work he does for us, and yeah, we couldn't do it without him, to be honest. So thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. It's been great having you on the show, mate. And as we gave Andrew prizes, we've got to give you something. We've got Peak Nutrition, Melbourne-based. It's a Melbourne-based company, actually. And, it's a protein powder, which is probably good for post-training on here. And we've got vanilla and chocolate. Andrew said he was a chocolate man. I bet you're a chocolate man as well, eh?
Actually, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give you chocolate and vanilla, mate, like I gave
Thanks, Peter.
Andrew.
Thanks,
so get on the website, www.peaknutritions.com.au. And, of course, thanking your trainer as well, Brian Butler, who gets out there and really makes it happen for you guys as well, doesn't he, with the hard sell?
Yeah, he does. Brian's he's great for us. Every day, all the hours he spends in the gym with us, making sure we're in top condition for the fight. So, yeah, couldn't do it without him, obviously, and we thank him a lot.
All right. Enjoy, boys. Back with former AFL star John Rombotis, now auctioneer of the last Danny Green card and the new auctioneer of the Manny Pacquiao Tour. Johnny, welcome to the KO Boxing Show.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for having me.
No, great to have you here, mate, and also a big thank you for Fashion Aid at Crown Casino. Put on a great night and raised thousands of dollars for the Leukemia Foundation, so good work once again there, Johnny.
Yeah, very powerful night. We had over 1,000 people there and to raise over 100,000 for the cause on Saturday night, so it was great to have you there as well, and you also donate the Pacquiao glove that went for just over $10,000, which is quite outstanding.
No, great stuff. Johnny, your company now, Rombotis Real Estate, it's online, rombotis.com.au. How's it going, mate? What's in store now with summer coming along?
Look, every starting business, which is now 198 days old, we're selling. Obviously, our rent roll is growing on a day-to-day basis, but we're all about working hard, and with our dynamic team of Amy, which we've met on a couple of occasions with Madison. We've got an international representative with Michelle from China, and our buyer's advocate and my wife. We're working very hard on a day-to-day basis, but from a point of view of the sales component, anyone wants to give me a call, please do. It's a great time to sell, and from the renting point of view as well, Amy's very good at what she does as well.
Great stuff. And there's an old saying here, there's no I in team. Is that right, John?
No, as I've taught Amy, and it's all about teamwork, but more or less communication. If you don't communicate with your vendors, then you don't get the job done, and it's all about working hard and providing that communication.
What's the website once again, mate?
www.rombodusrealestate.com.au, and we're opening every Saturday, Sunday for opens. We're big on that, and I've mentioned to you in the past, we don't believe in exorbitant amounts of advertising. I think you spend the minimum. 85% now look on the net.
Greg Echo puts out the signs. He told me he put out the signs somewhere. Couple of weeks ago, great guy.
He's lovely. He works for us as well. But 85% look on the internet, and you don't need to spend any more than, in my opinion, $2,000 to $3,000 to get you the same result. Then these big franchises charging ridiculous amounts of $10,000 to $15,000 because they're using their money, vendors' money, for their exposure.
Well, when the Pac-Man's out here, why don't you sell him a house, Johnny? You're going to be doing the auctioneers. Might as well
didn't you
try and get him a property.
What did you say? Didn't he make more money than 3 superstars combined in one? Was that right?
He made more money than Tiger Woods, Roger Federer and also LeBron James all combined in 1 year. So he might like a pad out in Port Melbourne or somewhere.
Or maybe Toorak, I think. We'll find something
Toorak for the Pac-Man. Okay, mate. Johnny, thanks for coming on the show, and keep up the outstanding work you're doing with the auctions too, and raising a lot of money for various charities, and that's what it's all about, giving back to the community. And the Leukemia Foundation, massive beneficiaries after Saturday night, the Fashion Aid parade that you guys put on. It was outstanding, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Peter.
Now, a special part of the show, we're going to show you a preview of Manny the movie, and that's going to be screening on November 19 at Margaret Court Arena. So tickets at mannydownunder.com.au at $65 if you want to book in and meet the legend and watch the movie. So enjoy, viewers.
When I was a boy, I had to fight to feed my family. My entire life, I fought to survive. Boxing was my only hope.
Manny Pacquiao has been in the sport for 20 long years. He is an 8-time world champion and will someday be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He fought in this era's most exciting fights, bringing an aggressive, risk-taking style that made every fight a drama in itself. He knows the ruthlessness of boxing better than anyone.
Manny Pacquiao's first loss since 2005.
If you're a fighter, truly a fighter, then you get back up. You fight again.
I don't care who it is, he'll get in there with anybody. And he just comes out with this big smile and he's just waving at everybody, and it's like...
I always said, you never know when the next Muhammad Ali's gonna walk through your door. This little Filipino kid comes up to me and I said, wow, can this kid fight? Manny Pacquiao is the best thing that ever happened to me.
Manny Pacquiao has always been a fighter, but it's his life story that made him famous beyond sports.
He's on the cover of Time magazine, 60 Minutes, Late Night. He's just transcended himself and made that crossover away from boxing.
The question is always, what is the bridge too far for him?
You've got boxing, you've got politics, and then you've got your people of Sarangani. What priority are you going to give them?
I always understand the needs of those people who need help. I feel what they're feeling because I've been there.
All good things, they come to an end. Your life is definitely beyond just this boxing ring.
It's bigger than boxing. It's bigger than being a prize fighter. His journey now is about fighting and winning for a people. Huge burden, but he accepts it.
Why do I box? Why do I fight? Because it's God's will.
Wrapping up the KO Boxing Show, I'd like to thank the Maloney twins, Howard Lee, John Rombodus. And if you're interested in going to the Manny Pacquiao tour, www.mannydownunder.com.au. Until next week, keep punching.